confessions, duels, and inebriated ducks? Dear gentle reader, if my sources are correct, and often they are, Lady Bridgerton's annual Hearts and Flowers ball at the Bridgerton's ancestral home of Aubrey Hall has featured all three and more. In a town filled with ambitious mammas and fortune-hunting gentlemen, marrying above one station is an art form indeed. But Miss Sidonie Birnbaum's elevation from companion of a lady to fiancée of a decorated lieutenant is an achievement that even the Ton cannot ignore. It is therefore my great pleasure to announce this news that others questioned, but I never doubted. Indeed, Miss Sidonie and Lieutenant Henry Wyeth have made their match. Accompanying them to the altar will be the diamond of the season, one Miss Edwina Sharma, who has likewise been officially betrothed to the Viscount Anthony Bridgerton. This author applauds their brave promises. Some may call a wedding the ultimate act of faith, while others would venture that it is the ultimate act of fools. But once that particular wager is placed, it cannot be easily undone, a fact which, I am sure, is met with both regret and sheer relief. Meanwhile, another precious gem, the Queen's Emerald of the season, finds herself entangled in a most grievous of conflicts. This author has it on reasonable authority that a duel has been declared between Lord Rowan Atherton, the Marquess of Hertford, and the Earl of Devonshire, the rakish Lord Percy George, over the hand, ostensibly, of one Lady Lydia Whistledown. Dueling is, of course, at once illegal and also the way things are handled among gentlemen. This author must wonder what more there is to the story. Indeed, is this an affair of honor, or a response to a rather graver dishonor? Only time will tell, or perhaps shall I. Welcome back to this, our greatest game of the social season, here on Flights of Fandom. My name is Marissa, and I use she, her pronouns. I also go by Critical Kitten most places on the internet, and I will be your Lady Whistledown. But which one, you might ask? Actually, both, as well as your facilitator this evening. Tonight, we will be telling our salacious tale using Good Society, a Jane Austen RPG system by Storybrewers Roleplaying, a highly collaborative role-playing game that uses narrative currency instead of dice. Welcome one and all to this, our season finale of Bridgerton, Dearest Reader. I say season finale for a reason, but more on that in a moment. First, what would any social scene be without its dramatis personae? I am excited to reintroduce you to our cast of players. So let's go around the table, quickly tell us your pronouns, where we can find you on the socials, and of course, the name of the major character and connections you'll be playing this evening. You can also give a quick sentence of who that connection is relative to your main character, or our cast of main characters, and then tell us one significant thing that did or didn't happen to your character, or in one case, your double, your twin, last session. So let's kick off with Chloe.
I'm Chloe, she, her. I play Sidonie Birnbaum, the companion to one Lady Sloan Atherton, and George Bailey, the absolute worst friend anyone can have. Last session, I got trapped at a greenhouse by inebriated ducks. Yeah, and you can find me on social media at Chloe Sobel or at fiercefully.itch.io. No inebriated ducks to be found.
I think you also got engaged last session, did you not?
That's less important than the ducks.
You know, I got engaged. There were some ducks, all of that.
The queen made a man propose to me. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
None whatsoever. It's all
not
good.
At all. Thank you very much. Now over to Marcy, returning to us from sunny LA.
Hey, I'm Marcy, aka Experimental Madness. That's the username. You can find me most places around the internet, except for Twitter, where I am the resident cryptid, and now I feel like I officially no longer exist due to it being purchased. You'll never find me there anymore. I'm back playing Lady Sloan Atherton. Lady Sloan was honing her sword skills for the certain duel that is coming tomorrow morning. But Rowan, her twin brother, did finally arrive as himself, not Sloan masquerading as Rowan, and caused quite a stir up to and including the inebriated ducks. Was a major cause in that? I wasn't there. I'm not responsible for my brother's actions.
I'm pretty sure your brother did toss some alcohol into an indoor pond where there were
that sounds
ducks.
right. Yeah, I mean that sounds like him. So
who can
for sure.
really say who inebriated the ducks? In many ways, the ducks inebriated themselves.
True, they didn't have to drink that water.
that's true.
Water.
In any case, we have ducks. We have inebriation. We have inebriated ducks.
And in addition to Sloan and Rowan, and I'm Sloan, I guess, I also play Rivka Birnbaum, the aunt of Sidonie, who is delighted that this engagement is now officially on.
Fabulous. Thank you, Marcy. Right on over to Zach.
Hey, everybody. My name is Zach. I also go by Great Zamino, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm typically a producer or GM on Flights of Phantom. So this week, however, I am playing Lieutenant Henry Wyeth, a fine, young, upstanding gentleman who has just returned from the Napoleonic Wars. As well as I am also playing Priscilla Willoughby, a jilted former lover of the Earl Devonshire. So we shall see how that goes.
You know, it is one thing that I have found in my time playing Good Society that often there are connections that don't show up till the very end, if they show up at all, or sometimes they just show up later and you go, where have you been this whole time? And the connection goes, here, obviously. Why have you not used me yet? No, connections are great. Amazing. And you got engaged too last session, so congratulations, I suppose.
I did the engaging. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, you clearly engagements are unidirectional. You did the engaging. Beautiful. Thank you, Zach. And finally, speaking of producers, our intrepid producer, David.
Hello there, David here, he, him. I'm an illustrator, graphic designer, a game designer, and your producer this evening. You can check out tabletop RPGs that I've done over at dbb-8.itch.io, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter at dbrunelbrutman. And I am picking up, once again, the role of Percy, Earl Devonshire, as well as friend of the Atherton family, Marcus Mayweather. And, gosh, once again, what didn't happen to Percy last time? Ducks, aggressive conversations in the orangery. I'm looking at my notes here. There seems to be right. There seems to be a lot about ducks. So much about ducks. But yes, Percy is girding himself for a duel this morning.
Circumstance most foul.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that one. Thank you, David.
I was hoping we would all just breeze over it, but here we are.
It had
Let
to
it
be
flow over you like
acknowledged, but-
water off of a duck's back.
Okay, stream over. Good night. See you every.
All right, somebody get the bill. All right. Nope.
Why are
Okay.
all of you like this?
Oh, you love putting up with our quackery.
Mighty fine quack.
I have the ability to cut off the stream at any point.
You do. I know. But
Brilliant.
you haven't.
Amazing.
What does that say about you, David? Anyway, sorry.
Some point tonight we'll play a game. It might be now. So if you've been following the story thus far, this might be old news. But for anyone new joining us, just a quick reminder about the the kind of collaborative nature of the system. As I said before, we use a narrative currency called resolve tokens to dramatically change the story or impact each other's characters in a big way. So that's one main feature of the system. Another is monologue tokens, which cast, this is your reminder, use your monologue tokens. There's going to be lots of drama tonight, so use them. They are another specific feature of Good Society. Everyone has one or starts off with one during a cycle of play, and you can use it and spend it at any time to force another character to have a spotlight moment and reveal their kind of inner turmoil, what's going through their heads. Tonight, the order of events, or I suppose the order of dances on the dance card, is going to mostly be novel chapter. So we are going to maximize role playing to the extent we can in this, our finale. So the plan is to conclude this novel chapter and then run through reputation and rumor and scandal. We'll assess whether or not we feel like we need an epistolary. We might just skip that and go right into one big event chapter to finish off our session. Normally in Good Society, if this was the end of the game, we would be doing epilogues, but I'm delighted to say that we are not going to be doing epilogues because this is not the end. Bridgerton is known, after all, for seasons which focus on each main character's journey, and so that's precisely what we intended to do. So you heard it here first. I guess we can say Bridgerton has been renewed for season 2, although, you know, I guess it's Bridgerton Dearest Reader has been renewed for season 2. Meanwhile, Bridgerton has been renewed through something like season 4. So anyway, you've heard both pieces of those news here. Anyway, what we're doing with Good Society, we've made a couple alterations to the system, which I won't spend too much time on, but just kind of breeze over them. In addition to the main characters that everyone's playing and their connections, I'm also playing some NPCs from the Bridgerton verse. So far, we have encountered Queen Charlotte, Penelope Featherington, Benedict Bridgerton, and Lady Lydia Whistledown, who is a lady whose good name has been ruined and by someone who has repurposed it as the alias for our favorite scandal sheet writer. I've also laid down the idea that players can spend a resolve token so that Penelope Featherington overhears critical pieces of news or is involved in a particular scene, which Zach used last session to particularly good effect. And that will in turn create a confirmed rumor that can be converted back to a resolve token to further influence the story. Courtesy of Storybrewers Roleplaying, we will also be using the recently released Lady Thistleton Scandal Sheet Substitution Expansion, which is meant to add extra scandal to your rumor and scandal phase. And finally, on another note, we will actually be doing a duel this evening, and as such, we will be using the Daring Deeds rules from the Sense, Sensibility, and Swordsmanship expansion from the Good Society Expanded Acquaintance book to navigate our duel, and we'll explain how that works when we get there. So with all of that mechanical stuff out of the way, let's dive back into play. Last we left off, the Earl, Devonshire, and Sidonie found themselves trapped together in an orangery, surrounded by droves of drunk ducks, unable to leave until Laton has finished rounding up the consequences of Rowan's chaos without being seen alone together as an unchaperoned couple. And so that's where we are going to pick up.
All right, so Chloe, unless you have a suggestion here, I would like to jump forward to the next morning.
Before you do that,
yes,
I would like to spend a resolve token if I need to bend the ear of the queen and tell her about a happening with which I need her assistance.
Are you paying the resolve token to the queen?
I will pay a resolve token to Queen Charlotte, yes.
Well, I'm going to ask David and Chloe, I'm assuming this news concerns you. What say you to this proposal?
Yeah, go for it.
Nope.
It actually probably concerns you too, Sloan, so...
Terrifying.
Don't involve me in this. I haven't been here all day.
No one's seen you. Not at all.
She's had the headache.
Yeah.
And fencing practice. That's fair, you know. Brilliant. Okay, I will absolutely accept that. Do you want to tell us what happens?
I think that what happens, and this is before I learn anything about what's going on in the orangery, is I will let her know that an illegal duel is taking place the following day, and that I would require her assistance to break it up.
Okay.
Henry, you are the absolute worst second.
Oh my god!
You rat.
Hey, Rowan said some nasty stuff, and maybe it's about time that everybody involved learn a lesson.
Yeah, we will learn a lesson with swords.
Exactly.
There's nothing like violence to really teach you the error of your ways.
Clearly. So I assume that you are asking the queen for a retinue, some kind of, shall we say, enforcing force to perhaps stumble upon this duel?
Yes, and I will give them, basically I'm going to give them enough lead time that, it will give me enough time to perhaps talk them out of this course of action.
I'm just going to move the location of the duel the second I see anything.
Great.
Very
Perfect.
good.
And I assume nobody else knows, unless someone wants to spend a resolve token. No one knows that it was you, Henry.
Yes, I'm going to assume that nobody knows.
Yeah, I like not knowing a lot more.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect. All right, consider it done.
You will learn the errors of your ways, even if I have to beat them into you.
I mean, I do actually have to admit, it is arguably the second's duty to do what they can to stop the duel from occurring.
That doesn't mean to be
that is part of it.
responsible about it.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm miffed.
Maybe it would have picked someone other than the queen to take it to, but
Well, I
can't fault you for trying.
I couldn't very well trust George Bailey. That is for sure.
Why would you say that? He's such a trustworthy man and a good friend to you.
Oh yeah, just the best of friends. The best of friends. Best.
Lovely. Now, with that established, going back to you, Percy, you were going to suggest something.
I would like to rejoin Percy and Sidonie in the orangery the next morning, just before the break of dawn. We at this point, the ducks have been long cleared. But I think what we see, our first image, is of the two of them huddled at the base of this orange tree, kind of leaning on each other, asleep. At some point during the night, they drew closer to each other in their sleep, and are now in a little cuddle pile under the orange tree in this greenhouse, and that is what we see as the two of them wake. Oh, good lord! What time is it? Oh my! Well. And Percy, just sort of leaps backwards from Sidonie, and starts just dusting himself, wearing last night's ball clothes, incredibly disheveled, but yet somehow, that tousled, curly mop of hair, the rumpled jacket, he looks terrible, but he also looks very good, and perhaps this is confusing for everyone involved.
Sidonie is still in her clothes, but she took her stays off during the night because that is uncomfortable as hell to sleep in. So now she has to go retrieve them from wherever she tossed them. And also, it looks extremely insulted that Percy jumped away from her so quickly. I don't have cooties. I really don't.
Handle it if you removed your stays.
I removed my stays. She doesn't put them back on. She's just gonna hold them loosely in her hands because who's gonna see them at this late hour? Dawn hasn't even broken yet.
Well, Miss Birnbaum, I see you're awake. Good.
Never seen someone less happy to see me conscious.
Well, I was not fully aware that I was unconscious myself. And now that I am, I should be going. And I'll pull out a pocket watch to check the time. Dash it all. Well, I rather have a lot to deal with this morning, and you are not on that list. Thank you.
Well, I must admit I find it a great relief that I am not on your to-do list today. But also, are you going to the duel? Are you still going to do that?
Well, yes, of course, a challenge has been issued.
That doesn't mean you have to take it.
You, Miss Birnbaum, as one who so keenly observes the upper classes, should know that that is certainly not the case. Don't tell me you're going to try to dissuade me from carrying this out simply because we slept. No, because we shared a tree last night. That didn't sound good either.
That has not given me any sort of affection for you or care for your safety. I don't want Lord Atherton to get hurt. Also, it's illegal and the Queen is here.
Oh, bother that. Lots of things are illegal. I should hardly think Her Majesty would care about the letter of the law when it comes to a matter of honor.
She might care when it's within a 5-minute walk of her bedroom.
Well, then we shall walk 10 minutes away if that would make you feel better.
Again, I do not care what happens to you. I am quite certain you're going to lose anyway.
Well, thank you so much for that vote of confidence. Much appreciated. Really, really what I needed before I get out there on the field and risk my life so dashingly.
You're not risking your life.
Oh, yes, this is deadly serious, don't you know? If it wasn't,
I'm sorry.
why would you feel the need to call it off,
Well, as far as I'm aware, it's not to the death. And
No,
again,
but death is always a possibility in these things, is it not?
Yes, I suppose you could sustain a scratch and get a rotting limb of some sort, but I don't see that that's likely to happen. And knowing you, I'm sure you would rather die than suffer such an ignoble illness. Again, I only care about my friend's twin.
Yes, of course. Well, I assure you, Rowan and I are old friends, and all of this will be conducted in a most gentlemanly manner.
Also, when you
How's
lose
that?
it, it's going to look bad for my fiance.
Oh, come now. Your fiancé... Your fiancé has been nothing but honorable in this. To a fault, I must say, and rather to my own consternation. You know, he was on the same tack last night.
Was he?
Yes. You're apparently of the same mind. Perhaps you're a better match than I gave you credit for.
That must have pained you greatly to say.
Miss Birnbaum, I've spent an incredibly uncomfortable night with perhaps the last person I wanted to do so with. It may be that I have simply given up trying to be clever and would merely like to exit this conversation as quickly as possible.
Then why haven't you?
That is an excellent question. And he turns around to leave, starts marching out, and then comes right back. You must promise me, Miss Birnbaum, despite the fact that we bear each other no love, this situation in the orangery shall remain between the two of us, yes?
Why in the world would I tell anyone else?
I can't imagine, but, well, perhaps you have motivations that I cannot fathom. It certainly seems that you are doing a lot of scribbling.
I have no desire to see my reputation ruined, especially not by someone like you. So I will be telling no one.
Good. Then both our reputations shall remain intact, and I am sure that will be for both of our benefits. And now, I bid you good morning. And he turns around to leave again, and, Chloe, Sidonie, what is the thing of Sidonie's that is, like, that has somehow made its way onto Percy's person, like, into his pocket, or, like, you know, tucked in his, like, jacket sleeve, or, like, stuck to his, you know, shoulder?
Whoa.
That he has to come marching back with a second time.
Let's say that her engagement ring is slightly too big for her and fell off her hand during the night.
Oh my goodness.
I will pay a resolve token for have you forget that it's in your pocket.
Oh, good lord.
Ooh.
Okay. Is there any scenario where you would have more than one ring?
Oh yeah, I'm sure she has more than one.
Great.
One from her
okay.
parents, let's say.
Yeah. So let us say you have had 2 rings that in the course of the night, as the two of us were asleep leaning against each other under the orange tree, slipped off your finger and into Percy's, like the breast pocket of his jacket. And he comes marching back and has this like small, let's say, silver ring, that he marches up to you and places in your hand. And I believe this is your property, Miss Birnbaum, and I would kindly see it returned to you and not about my person. So, as I said, good day.
Well, I appreciate that, as it was my mother's. I would be very sad to lose it, so thank you.
Yes, right. Good day.
Good day.
And he marches out for real this time.
She waits a couple minutes and then she also leaves. And here I would like to offer a resolve token to either Sloan or Henry, or both, because I have 3 right now, to have you see Percy leave, and then Sidonie a few minutes later holding her stays in her hand.
Oh, I'll take it.
Beautiful.
I think Sloan is up early anyway.
That makes she has to go duel.
Yeah, no big deal.
I'll move it.
Yeah, I think Sloan as Rowan is jauntily making their way sort of across the grounds, and then sees this, like, sort of stops and quickly, like, goes behind a pillar when she sees Percy absconding away from the orangery, and then sees you just sort of alone in, is there a doorway, a frame of something? I'm not sure how orangeries work. Yeah, and then just sort of pulls herself away from the pillar and, like, gives you a very pointed look so, like, you can see her standing there staring at you. I feel like we're having one of those like silent telepathic best friend conversations. Like, what did I just see? What are you doing? What is happening?
What are you doing up so early?
Sorry, what am I doing up so early? What are you doing up so early / late? We're holding your stays. Okay. Sidonie, please tell me that nothing happened.
Nothing happened, but also if I tell you the truth, I don't think you'll believe me, because it bordered on the absurd.
Oh, try me. I love the absurd.
I was in there to get away from the party, and I'm sorry, there are sirens. I'm gonna be for a
And
second.
the fucking
Queen's
cops
caught us.
showed up. Shit!
I mean,
Hide the weed.
I guess they're early. They are coming to the duel at some point.
They were like, it's easier if we just jump out of the bushes and surprise them. Anyway, I was just sitting in there on account of I was very overwhelmed by having just been proposed to before the queen, and then Percy came in and started arguing with me, and I was going to leave, and then there were ducks swarming the outside of the orangery, staggering as if they were drunk, which doesn't seem possible, and yet...
Did my brother do the whole spike the birds thing again?
I didn't see it, but probably.
Sounds like him. Yeah. No, that's not the most absurd thing that I've ever heard. No one else saw you, just me.
Okay. Nothing
That was a
happened.
question.
Oh, I don't believe so.
Good.
I mean, I don't see anyone else.
Sidonie, far be it from me to be the one to give you some sort of virtue discussion, but be careful around Percy.
He despises me.
Oh, good. Well, keep it up.
I'm doing my best. Also, he is the last person on Earth that I would.
Yeah, probably for the best. Probably
And I
wise.
wouldn't do it to Henry. Also that.
Right. We
Mhm.
would not want to upset him.
No, I forgot. I didn't.
You forgot
Anyway.
that you're engaged.
Last night was very overwhelming. A lot happened.
I heard.
I will pay Sloan a token at this point to, as this is the topic of discussion, ask where Sidonie's engagement ring is.
Yeah, I think as we're talking about the engagement, Sloan will look down. I'll take it. And
because I have these, I have so many gosh darn tags, and I have yet to use any of them. I will make use of one of my tags here. Does it, to spend the tag, it has to be like related to the
Yes.
spend, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I would like to, because we're dealing with being cautious around Percy, and Sloan is noticing in Sidonie's state of indiscretion that she is also somehow missing her engagement ring. I'm going to make use of my rakish tag.
Beautiful.
So I will
Consider it done.
trade that for a resolve token.
yeah, Sloan will grab your hand.
What?
You're missing something.
No, I'm. Oh, it must have fallen in the in there. It's too big.
Well, you have to get it back before anyone notices that it's gone.
Yes. I'll go look now. Will you help me?
Before the duel, yes, I'll do my best.
Oh God, how long do you have?
Let's just say 5 to 10 minutes.
Great.
Yeah, like the there's a beautiful glow just over the horizon. Yeah. The birds are starting to chirp.
Soberly. Yeah. We could just fast forward, we go in, we root around in the dirt by where
we don't find anything.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
What an idyllic way to die. Hey.
I have thoughts on this, but I think it's too soon to offer up resolve tokens for it.
Is it?
Well, I'd love for it to come spilling out during the duel.
Fair.
But we can come back to that.
I think that, put a pin in that one.
Mm-hmm. I think Sloan is going to make her apologies to you, Sidonie, and just say, just put on some gloves. Take some of mine if you need to.
Okay.
Hopefully no one will ask.
Did you want me to come to the duel?
No. If we're caught, then you plausible deniability.
It's true. Okay.
I'll be fine. It's Percy.
Yes. Also, I think I did a very good job of shaking his confidence.
So. Oh, really? Oh, incredible. So you've already helped. And I'll keep my eyes out for that ring.
Yes. Come and find me when it's over. We'll celebrate together. Yes.
Absolutely. Sloan's gonna make her way over to the dueling grounds, wherever those may be. Don't think we ever specify.
I was gonna say, where have you elected? What does it look like, this place that you have decided to meet?
I feel like we definitely want to take this slightly off the estate grounds. To maybe some either field, or a clearing in one of the woods, just somewhere secluded, if I'm reading this right. We know what we're doing is illegal. The queen is on the estate grounds.
May I make a suggestion?
Please.
It is that little hollow in the down the hill from where Anthony and Kate lose the mallet at Pall Mall, and his dad's grave is right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great spot for a duel.
Yeah.
Well,
possible that you don't realize until you get there, but
yeah, that's true.
They'll also consider the terrain possibilities. We have a big mud pool, right? Near there.
Mud pool.
Oh, God.
You're down a slope from the house, so no one can see because it's very thickly wooded.
I do like it. Yeah, Sloan will make her way over there.
Lovely. Henry, how are you? You're coming to this duel, presumably, and you are coming as a second. Are you going to meet up with your first, as it were, before, or are you just going straight to the duel?
I think that I would be coming straight to the duel. I am carrying under one arm a case of 5 rapiers that have been agreed upon, I believe. And I think that my question is this too early for the rumor and scandal sheet to have arrived?
I think probably the new edition, right? Because mechanically, right? The next session is when the next thing is that we are updating the rumor and scandal sheet. But you can, however, engage with any of the confirmed rumors that have already been either spread and confirmed, or the ones that have been kind of whispered about, but haven't been formally confirmed.
Has there been any whisper about what's transpired in the orangery? Anything that I would have heard by now, or
not yet?
Okay, then that's all I need to know. But what?
Well, but that is going to become a confirmed rumor as of next novel chapter.
Okay, excellent. That's all I need to know. I am carrying the case, and I am making my way to the appointed location. kind of almost a little smug in my plan, as it were, and just, I think kind of thinking internally, I really hope that they don't go through with this.
I would kind of like to, along those lines, start this with sort of everybody, meeting on the field and the negotiation between seconds with Henry and Marcus, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I will just, I think at this point, kind of walk up to Marcus after, I think, having a cursory nod with Percy. I think, of course, I am going to, at some point, take my time to try to once again talk Percy out of this course of action. But I'll start with Marcus.
Yeah. So I think Marcus approaches you in, I think, with sort of a swaggering good humor. The two of you have never interacted before, correct?
I don't think so. If at all, it was in passing.
All right. So Marcus will come up, extend a hand. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. So, is your first, I take it, incredibly intent on this course of action still? I would advise strongly against it.
Well, he does seem rather keen on it, and if you don't mind my saying so, your man is rather cad. And I can't half blame him for it.
That is very fair. However, I must say, there is a few less, let us say, flattering traits that your first has exhibited the previous evening. So I think that they are two alike in this regard.
Well,
so perhaps they're better matched than I had hoped.
Perhaps so. I think young Lord Atherton merely sees this as a defense of his honor. There are numerous slights that Lord Devonshire has committed against Lord Atherton and against his sister as well, I should add. This runs perhaps a little deeper than one offense.
Well, I would beg that you would think carefully on the next several minutes. Good Sir Mayweather, I believe that we find ourselves at a unique watershed, let us say, that things could go one way, things could go another. If things go in a way that is, let's say, less conducive for the health of my first, even it be so slight as a nick, or perhaps so slight a wound, it could result in a dreadful consequence. I recommend that instead we give to first blood rather than to yield, or to the death for that matter.
Well, I should think to the death is out of the question. I certainly wouldn't stand for it.
I should hope, but I would have thought that dueling would be out of the question entirely, and yet here we are.
And yet here we are. Sloan, question. What instructions, if any, did you give Marcus? Like, with regards to, like, stated reasons for the duel, what your sort of interest is?
It's definitely for Sloan's honor, because in coming back, Rowan was able to, like, catch up on the papers and the news, which was now made public in our rumors and scandal section, that Percy was definitely courting other people at the same time he was very publicly courting Sloan, which is a big deal. And now it's sort of like he's come back to England and is making him answer for what occurred.
Mm-hmm. I have to ask, this is a question for Henry. Does Henry know that Sloan is a fencer or practices the sword in her spare time?
I mean, I would say not just Henry and Percy, it would be Percy too. I mean, I think we all used to play together when we were kids. Like, you definitely know that Sloan is athletically inclined.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know how well she's kept up with the art. Technically, she shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
You could either be assuming she might have ignored those rules, or that she simply has stopped now that she has come out into society and is now seen as a proper lady, is befitting her station. She probably isn't fencing.
Would you say it's fair that is Rowan the poorer fencer of the two of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love that you're doing this because you are practically reading my mind for a future resolve token.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah. At which point I just say, your man may be resolved and intent on this fight, but he is not half the fighter that his sister is. I would recommend that you reconsider, as it would be two, let us say, less experienced combatants, and therein lies the challenge and the hazard. Once again, honor, yes, an understandable reason for this course of action, and yet so unreasonable. Mr. Mayweather, this is your final chance.
Well, certainly you're not suggesting in your implication that Lady Atherton is a better fencer that she take up arms in this affair, huh?
Well, would that she could. However, we do not live in such a society.
No, we do not, as of yet.
Remember that I gave you this opportunity, Mr. Mayweather, and I turn to face Percy.
Lieutenant. Well noted, and I appreciate your conduct here. Let me ask you, honestly. Let us say our business is resolved. I merely have a mote of curiosity in my eye. Why is it that you have agreed to be the second for Lord Devonshire? You seem rather keen on his preservation, yet you also do not seem to hold much love for him. So, why agree to potentially risk yourself on the field on his behalf?
Because I find that it is at our lowest points when we realize that we can do so much better than we have relegated ourselves to. Fare thee well. And again, back to Percy.
Marcus likes that. Marcus likes that answer. He sort of turns away, nodding, like he respects you. He has a lot of respect for Henry now.
Excellent. And at which point I think I turn and I look at Percy. I know we're having this conversation again. I just look at Percy. Don't do this foolish thing that you are set on doing.
Well, you spoke with Rowan's second. Has he agreed to back down?
No, he has not. He is fighting for the honor of his sister, which I understand. However, the fact that you have agreed to such a matter is entirely within your control. It's entirely within.
Well, I rather thought it was about Lady Whistledown. Well, now I'm confused.
Are you this oblivious? This callous that you think that one lady's honor is interchangeable with another?
Well, no, that's why I'm confused. He seemed rather keen on Lady Whistledown out of nowhere, and now you're telling me this is about Sloan?
Of course it's about Sloan. Honestly, do you think that Rowan gives a fig about the newest debut of the diamond or the emerald of the season? No, he wants your blood for the fact that you jilted his sister. You are just very lucky that he is not an expert fencer.
Well, then perhaps I am at an advantage.
I will tell you this, you should agree to first blood. In the event that that is the case, Rowan favors his left side.
Thank you, Henry.
But, damn it, why did I even tell you that? The point is, this fight should not occur. Any number of consequences. You're not expert combatants. You wouldn't know how to fight for a wound, let alone to the death. Terrible things can only come out of this.
Oh, Hank, I've had enough training in swordsmanship. A little here, a little there. That's all you need.
A little
Now,
here, a little there. I had training as a soldier. How well do you think it helped me?
well, that's different.
Oh, you are going to find out just how similar it is, my friend.
Do you intend to keep talking, or are we actually going to fight?
I believe we're about ready. All right, first blood. Hank, I understand your concern. I thought perhaps this was a friendly affair between comrades. If I am mistaken, that will be proven upon the field.
Friendly of... You are gravely mistaken, Percy, and I would be very careful.
I shall be. I appreciate your concern, Hank. I really do.
The Earl is ready. And I just, there's this kind of like shaking, like exasperated look in Henry's eyes as he looks to you.
Yeah, and Percy will turn to face who he believes is Rowan.
Rowan, what do you look like? Or shall I say Sloan?
I think my brother and I exchanged clothes right before dawn. Sloan is probably somewhere on the grounds, supposedly. And currently Rowan is wearing I'm not fully dressed in the sense that it would be appropriate to be seen in society with this. I think they're wearing like very simple black or dark trousers and just like one of those very stereotypical Regency historical romances, white shirts that are a little bit loose and flowy. Really I'm gonna lean in hard on that. Looks like Sloan is Rowan is really angling hard for that cover model status for sure.
Yeah, Percy, perhaps seeing this, is like, oh shit, I gotta up my game here, and takes his jacket off, drops it on the grass. I think perhaps we see a glint of something in the pocket.
I'm gonna spend a resolve token to have that engagement ring roll right on out and possibly either hit Henry's boot heel.
Oof.
I will tell you this. I think that there is a moment where it hits and I am not aware of it for a moment.
Yes.
For like maybe a couple minutes.
Yeah,
as the
like
duel starts.
I imagine that at this point Henry is in, military fashion, standing like stock still, eyes forward on the proceedings, and we see just this little glint of an engagement ring, like sort of roll up and rest against your boot.
Henry,
good.
this is the only element I would add. Does Henry clock that it came from Percy's jacket, whatever it is? Like you don't have to notice what it is just yet. Just, I wonder, do you notice that that's the origin of the item?
Yeah, I think I just see a very weird glint just flicker out of the pocket, I think. And I don't think anything of it. And I just kind of see if there's maybe like it was just a bit of the sun getting in my eye.
Yeah, and Percy, I think will has dropped his jacket very close to you. So he's dropped his coat. He, sort of like loosens his cravat and opens his shirt too much.
Yeah. God forbid your friend be hotter than you in this moment.
Yeah. And he's sort of like he's preening. He's like, okay, yeah. Now we're in a Zoolander style hotness contest.
It's a walk off.
This is the real duel.
Have we grabbed for our weapons yet? Is there any pomp and circumstance surrounding that?
I think at this point, there's probably a table that has been unfolded, and laid out, and the case with the rapiers is closed to top it. This very kind of fine, like walnut case, at which point the clasp is opened by Henry's one arm and pulled open, and you have a selection of fine 5 rapiers or so.
And Percy, God, he's such a dick. Percy will approach the table across from you, Sloan, and say, "Well, Lord Atherton, I believe it is customary for the one who is challenged to have first pick at weapons. Yes,
By all means."
Most gracious of you. And he fucking winks at you. He just does a little wink and reaches for definitely what looks like not the best sword, but definitely the fanciest looking sword.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
I feel like Sloan is going to reach for one that's like, oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh, and is just going to start like waving it around, like testing it, like doing, I would say not like incompetent, but thoroughly mediocre sword forms.
Yeah, Sloane's going to reach for not necessarily the weightiest of the blades, but she's looking for one that looks like it has the most agility to it. She's going to take that, sort of give it like a quick toss up to test its balance, and then she's just going to fully flip it, catch it, and do like a quick flourish. It doesn't even look like she's showing off. She's not even paying attention to what you're doing. It looks like she's doing some dicers and just a quick warm up with her weapon to just sort of warm up her wrist and shoulder before she I don't think she has a sheath if the weapons were given to us, but she's just gonna return to form.
I think Henry's brow furrows a little bit, but doesn't make a connection.
Yeah. Percy is sort of like glancing out of the side of his eye, confused. And again, same as the stupid shirt. He's like, oh, okay, I have to do a cool thing too. And does like a really stupid flourish.
Yeah, I think Henry just kind of cocks his head momentarily, just barely perceptibly.
Yeah, Sloan does clock that one as she's turning around and getting ready for the fight to commence. Oh, Devonshire, looks like you've improved some of your form. Perhaps I ought to be a bit wary.
Well, thank you, my Lord Marquess. Much appreciated that you noticed. And he does another really just stupid flourish. Like he's not stupid in he's lucky he wouldn't, not like stupid to the degree of like he's lucky he didn't cut his finger off, but stupid in that like gif of the lightsaber duel.
Oh my god, I was thinking
Anakin
that
and Obi-Wan,
same thing.
where they're just like spinning under each other. Yeah, like that kind of stupid.
Amazing. being that this is a sword fight and not pistols at dawn, I don't think we need to do the 10 paces and turn around. I think we just need to get into fighting stance.
Yeah,
right?
we just get into stance and we cross swords, right? And then we begin at the signal.
Yeah, I think at that point you just hear Henry say, "On your guard." Not on your gourd. On your guard.
On your gourds, everyone.
On your gourd, everyone.
And begin. And as soon as he says that, Henry is going to step back, the back heel just a little bit away from stepping on the ring, and is going to look towards the hill off in the distance.
I would like to pay a resolve token here, at least for the moment. What you see on that hill is Lydia Whistledown on horseback, dramatically riding in to try to stop the duel.
Oh my goodness.
I would also very much love to spend a resolve token to have Rowan as Sloan doing something to delay the mustering forces, because he is still back at the estate proper and is almost certainly awake.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll resolve these one at a time. Mine, I think if the table is cool with it, it'll just go to the ether. It'll be a facilitator token. The other token exchange would be Marcy to Zach.
Yeah, I think.
You introduced
okay, sure,
that.
yeah.
I will accept that resolve token. I think maybe this is like
burning through Rowan's resolve.
I think with Rowan's resolve tokens, it probably just like there's just a train of drunk ducks, hungover ducks.
Yes,
like, in the path of the.
They're all like flopped over with their little feet still paddling in the air.
Yeah, was it flopped over, blocking the path of the regiment? Just I think all of them just like bloody ducks. Or some other more dramatic obstacle. Maybe perhaps overturned cart.
No, ducks.
Ducks. Yeah, absolutely. Ducks.
I feel like because Lydia is
Rowan
on a single
comes
horse.
out from there's an overturned carriage and ducks. And Rowan comes out from around the side of these carriage, like with a duck in each hand, saying, help me with these ducks! There's all these ducks! You men must help me! and
they are
now they've accepted a side quest.
Yep.
And they are prevented.
Oh my god.
Beautiful. I feel like Lydia, because she's on a single horse, avoids the whole duck situation. In fact, maybe we get an image of her horse just, not like dramatically jumping like over a hedge or other obstacle, but just, like kind of just going right over the line of ducks or what have you, and just galloping right on towards the duel.
I love it.
Very good. All right, Marcy, who goes on the offensive first?
Absolutely, it's Sloan. I just don't know how the rules are going to work for this, but I think she's going to be coming at you hard and aggressive.
Yeah. Okay, so I think what immediately happens is you're going hard, and Percy is sort of immediately kind of taken aback, on the back foot, on the defensive, getting pushed back across the field.
So mechanically, here's what I think we can do. I think for the fight itself, we can kind of keep going back and forth like this in terms of parrying, like who is on the back foot, who's on the front foot, and just narrate a couple of moves. As we're getting to a point where you want to resolve the duel, that's where we'll trigger the mechanical situation and talk about how we want the duel to resolve.
Gotcha.
So I will offer some interceding stuff, but I'd like to see a couple of moves. I will tell you this. I will pay a resolve token for Sloan to make it very apparent after a few exchanges that she is playing with Percy.
Oh, I'll take that all day long. She's absolutely playing with Percy. This is a cat playing with her food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Percy, as you sort of launch into it, and as we're going back, steel clanging on steel, is going to say, well, Rowan, I guess Henry was bloody right. You are serious about this.
Whatever gave you the idea that I wasn't?
Well, I rather thought that this was about a woman whom you had no acquaintance with, but apparently that is not the case.
You get hammered again, real hard. So I think she like spins to push you off in another direction. She's like, this is your problem, Devonshire. You've never, ever listened.
I would like to... I'm going to pay a token to have Percy temporarily gain the upper hand here. I think, Sloan, your anger is actually getting the better of you. And as you say this, you are, in the midst of this initial flurry, you've gotten to a point where you're actually forgetting your form because now you are engaged in this conversation.
Yeah, love it. I'll take it.
A little bit. And I think Percy is actually able to dodge and parry out a blow and actually move you back. So I'll pay a token for that. And now I think we're moving at least slightly in the other direction.
Yeah, the entire time Henry is like, his hand is kind of like has moved to his chin, and he's kind of gripping the bottom of his chin. His thumb is digging into the bottom of it. The forefinger just like not betraying the tension there. But at that point, again, he takes a minor step back. I think the boot kind of scrapes against the ring, but Henry is trying to put two and two together because this is not how he has ever seen Rowan fight, if at all.
All right, Rowan. Well, you've bloody well got my attention now. I'm listening. So, what is it you need to say to me?
I'd say we're past talking. You will answer for the dishonor of my sister with blood.
If that's to be the case, so be it. And I think we have a moment at least here of equilibrium. We lock swords dramatically.
Yeah, there's like a big, we're like getting up in each other's faces.
Yeah,
with that one.
and as this exchange ends, we both push off and go in opposite directions and sort of circle around to as we sort of recover from that.
There
that
is
little
something
scrum.
I'd like to posit. I don't know if this will be part of the duel rules, unless there's something specific else that you would like to do. But I almost want us to draw blood at the same time, which would negate both of those wounds, so we'd have to keep going.
Ooh, okay. So we both pull away, and I think part of the recovery is each of us seeing that we have been slashed.
Yeah.
And I will actually call across the field. Well, what now, Rowan? Seems we've both drawn first blood.
I will tell you this: is the slash to your to your person, Sloan, does it make any patch of skin visible?
I'm gonna say it cut across my collar.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to bully this scene and I don't want to.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna give it to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I like Henry
Facilitator's
already
favorite
being
words.
a little bit like that's not how Rowan fights. I don't even think you need a resolve token to have that. You've had a relationship with Rowan. You would know.
Yeah. Well, my question is, would I put this together?
I think you are putting it together. I'm gonna say, if you want me to say right now, I have a resolve token on the floor, either 2 or 1 resolve tokens for Henry and or Percy to realize this is Sloan by the end of this fight.
So here is what I will posit, is that Henry realizes it first.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Go ahead and take the token.
I would love that, yes.
But you can't stop the fight. It's still going on. I would say, here's your resolve token, Henry. You figured it out in that first, when blood was drawn, because you just told Percy that Rowan favors his left side, but you are noticing that I'm favoring the right.
Oh, yeah.
Not my left.
Really good.
And that's where I got cut.
I think, okay, so this is, I think, how I see this is, I think at that point, the hand leaves Henry's chin. He steps back onto the ring.
Oh, God!
Steps, looks down.
Oh!
Henry is having a morning.
Really bad morning.
Sees the ring, sees the jacket, looks at this looks at what's about to happen, realizes who's doing this here, at which point the ring gets slipped into the pocket with the one arm, and you just see a quick shot of a hand grasping a basket weave hilted rapier, at which point you I think both of you hear, Devonshire, I will have satisfaction.
Oh, God.
Henry, what in the blazes are you doing?
And I think at this point, like,
what the devil, get back, man!
At which point, I look at Sloan, who I know to be Sloan. I say, if your sister could be here right now, witnessing this, and I kind of like raise my eyes to her, and my eyes travel across the hill where Lydia Whistledown is riding, but also at that point, soldiers are beginning to crest much further back.
What is this? You're having us arrested.
At which point I just say, as a officer of Her Majesty's Armed Forces, I believe that this is within my power. Yes. I think the basket weave hilt is up. By the way, I have been making a lot of unilateral decisions. Does this sound?
Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is chaotic. I love it.
Yeah, at which point I think that the rapier travels from pointed at Sloan to going back to Percy.
Henry, do not make me fight you too.
You think you have some sort of advantage. And I kind of begin advancing on Percy, at which point I say, I found Sidonie's ring in your pocket. What was it doing there?
No, you didn't. I returned it to her. Oh, shit.
You cad! And
no, Henry, wait, because Sloan knows context to this.
Yeah.
Can I spend a resolve token? I don't know if this is to both of you, that Sloan runs into you, Henry, and all three of us go rolling down this hillside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Towards the mud pit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that what happens is we roll. God, I almost want to pay a resolve token for somebody to fall on a rapier, but I think that's way too early. I think at this point, I just am pushing up with my one arm, and I look at you, Sloan, and I just say, the soldiers are coming. You will be found out. Make your haste now. And I just pick up the basket weave hilt, and I just look back to you, Percy, on your guard and your feet.
Is there anyone here who doesn't want to bloody duel me? And I are we in the mud at this point?
Yeah, I think we're all, it's almost now it would be impossible to know if any of us drew any form of blood. We're all, I think, scuffed up and muddy.
Yeah, so I think, yeah. Is this the point? So Percy is going to get up, and sort of like he doesn't quite know. He points the rapier at Henry, who has just indicated that he should do so. Back to Rowan, Henry, Rowan, Henry, Rowan, and
Rocky.
then
Dr. Scott.
And then I think this is the point at which I'm gonna pay a resolve token to Sloan. I think because we are in the mud, and we are now wet, and our clothes are rather clinging to our forms, Percy suddenly notices.
Yeah, the underwire.
There is something amiss about the body of his friend Rowan, or former friend at this point. What the deuce?
Yeah,
and I would like to pay another token, unless you're just going to do this, for this to be the point at which Henry attacks.
Yeah,
Oh
Henry,
gosh!
you say as you say what the deuce, like literally you get a basket weave hilt across the bottom of your jaw as Henry socks you with the hilt of the blade. I think at that point I just kind of maneuver in front of Sloan I'm putting my back to you with the hope that you're not going to run me through.
Yeah, and that I think brings Percy to his knees in the mud. It's just a powerful, just slug.
I do not think Sloan is aware of the precarious position she's in. She has not looked down at her shirt to see what you guys have seen. She has a niggling sensation that Henry has figured her out, but is too angry and now very confused to really have sussed that part of it out. So I think she's gonna elbow check you, Henry, to get out of the freaking way. If you want to duel Percy, get in line.
No, my satisfaction shall not wait. At which point, I think at this point, God, no, you actually know sword fighting. So, if I put my foot to point you off, it gives you an opening.
Yeah, sure does.
Yeah. So at which
I'll
point,
can I give you a resolve token to disarm you?
Yeah, you may certainly try. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have a basket hilt. I want to sneak in there. You're taking a step. I'm gonna step off the line and parry with my rapier to get into the actual hilt through it, because it's a basket one. And I'm gonna try to spin it out of your hands.
As you flick up and spin the hilt out of my hands, I immediately close the distance, getting inside the crook of your elbow, and you just feel my one fist on the lapel that is torn. Yeah.
She's gonna grab your hand and is just glaring at you like, Henry.
Percy is gonna take this opportunity to pop up from where he is and sort of Henry elbow you away and down into the mud from where you are with Sloan. We see this flash of Percy's eye looking up, seeing an advantage, and just elbowing you up as he rises. And I think very specifically, and I have one resolve token left, which I will pay for this. I think very specifically putting you off balance such that you fall into the mud with your intact arm in the mud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I will accept that. As I am trying to stagger back up, I think that Marcus at this point is kind of trying to gingerly walk down the muddy hill.
Yeah.
And I kind of want at this point, for maximum chaos, to spend a resolve token for Lydia Whistledown to shout, "No!"
You don't even have to spend that token. In fact, I would like to propose something. I would like to propose this is the moment that Lydia Whistledown arrives, and she has a pistol on her.
Oh
And
no.
she shoots the pistol into the air as a warning shot and says, "Enough!" But her horse gets spooked by the pistol shot and throws her off.
Oh no.
What do you think?
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna shove these idiots aside and go for her.
Oh yeah. Percy's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna try to trip you as I try to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I have no resolve tokens, so if you have one to spend, you can do it.
I'll give it to you.
Great.
We've been literally. This has just been an exchange of tokens.
What was it? As this as these idiots are doing this, I am going to spend. Let me see how many I got left. Do I have one?
Oh, a resolve token?
Zachary,
You got all
you
of
have
many.
You have
I've given you
unlocked a
so
Good
many.
Society achievement. You have maxed your entire resolve token line.
What?
It does not happen
You
that
accepted
often.
so many of the tokens.
I am going to spend one of my tokens to scramble over the two of you with my hand searching in the mud. I first thing I do is check her pulse, see how she's doing. But the other thing I will do is I will cover the pistol with my body.
That is totally good. I think Lydia
Percy
is
face down in the mud. His sword has gone flying away to parts unknown.
Yeah, I'd love to have Sloan as Rowan sort of get an arm under Lydia's neck and just sort of be like cradling her. Let's just lean into this historical romance beat here. He's there bruised and bloody and covered in mud and has never looked hotter. Let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. This
All three of us, really. We've never been sexier. and Sloan as Rowan is just going to be, Lady Whistledown, what are you doing here?
And yeah, is she conscious at this point?
I think she was kind of stunned at the very least by the fall. She does not seem to have sustained any life-threatening injuries, but she's clearly hurt.
Yeah.
Here, I'll carry you back to the estate. I want to pick her up. Full-blown bridal carry.
Is it over? Is it done?
What you did was incredibly reckless and foolish. Say that again, darling. You cut out a little bit there.
But it worked.
All right.
You almost got yourself killed.
You almost got yourself killed.
He won't
Both of you,
fight to the death.
I don't understand. Why?
A matter of honor, my lady.
I think a bitter tenor comes into her voice. No honor is worth that.
Yeah,
Well, let's make sure you haven't broken anything.
My arm, it feels strange.
Oh no. Yeah, at which point I think Henry is getting up and has stashed the gun into his belt, and looking at Percy kind of like struggling in the mud trying to get up.
Percy has gotten up. He's standing in the mud, just like wiping just huge gouts of mud off of himself as he watches Sloan carry Lady Whistledown off. Yes, I'm just describing Percy's state.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
he has things to say, but it seemed like you were going somewhere.
Yeah. Pardon me. I was just waiting for that moment and then just be like, "Oh, get up, you idiot!" And just kind of like looks at you and like seeing not a sword in sight, looks at Marcus and then looks at you. We're going to have to very much hurry if we do not want to be cordoned in the Old Bailey.
Well, I suppose I declare myself satisfied.
I declare you an... I'm glad that you have found satisfaction, Earl. I suppose after today, it'll be a miracle if anybody is satisfied with you. I imagine this will be quite a point of discussion now. So let us hurry. I would like to quit the sight of you as soon as I can.
Yes, that sounds rather good, Hank. And Percy turns and marches off in the opposite direction from Henry.
Oh, man.
Just goes slogging into the woods.
God, I want a monologue token for both of you right now, but I'm gonna give it to Percy in this moment.
Well, because I was gonna give mine to Henry, so now
Perfect.
We got them both.
I have to. We haven't had a chance to like. You have Sloan has no idea. Y'all have figured her out aside from maybe Henry, and I need to know what's going through your brains after this spectacular fucked up duel.
Yeah. So we see Percy just covered head to toe in mud, trudging like through the wood, in I guess roughly the opposite direction of the manor house. Well, that was certainly a fine affair. I find myself rather devoid of a friendly face. Even those who I trusted, who I thought were friendly to me, have turned on me. On a moment's notice. I cannot for the life of me imagine what could have possessed Hank to act so. To interrupt a duel and declare a new one in the midst of it. To launch himself into the fray. I thought I was rather doing well against Rowan. Or Sloan? Apparently? Was it Sloan the entire time? I suppose it would have had to be. If it was an affair of her honor, she chose to defend it. Well, Percy, you will have a difficult time showing your face at Aubrey Hall or back in London. You know, some part of me rather thinks that somehow, at the root of it, this is all my fault. And he trudges off into the woods.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a breakthrough.
Finally. As much as I was looking forward to finding out why this was all Sidonie's fault.
For Henry's point, for part of this, I think that he is standing and I think is looking down at the pistol clipped to the belt and just takes it out and throws it into the mud and reaches into the pocket in which he put the ring and just kind of looks at it plainly for a moment. I hope that I gave Sloan enough time to leave. I don't know what the meaning of this is. Why am I here? Defending people who refuse to do better. To reason with the unreasonable. Why are you here, Henry? And should I apologize to Rowan? As unkind as he was? Either way, I have a few very tough conversations to have. But first, a change of clothing. And I put the ring back into my pocket and leave.
That sounds like the end of our novel chapter, everyone, unless there's anything anyone wants to add. No? All right, well then consider the novel chapter concluded. And with that, we will take our 10-minute break. We have just concluded a very intense duel, which has closed out our last novel chapter. So I won't say any more there. I think we are about to lightning round reputation, rumor and scandal, and epistolary, so we can get straight back to the action. So with that in mind, reputation. Let's go around very quickly. Tell me if you got a reputation tag. If so, tell me where you're putting it and why. And if it affects a condition, so be it. But let's start with you, Chloe.
God. So, I do think that I got a positive tag, which I forgot to write down, but for being a good citizen and letting the queen make me get engaged, and a negative tag for being in an orangery overnight with someone to whom I am not engaged. It would have been scandalous if I had been engaged to him too, but it's worse this way. And so I am taking indiscreet for that one, which also triggers a negative condition. And I think that what makes the most sense for the negative condition is sour taste, which is that maybe Sloan kind of no longer trusts my judgment entirely, which is fair. Because the condition is that your behavior reflects badly on the person you're attached to. They revoke your privileges until you reform, and I will let Marcy decide to what extent that happens if you're down. But it did a stupid thing.
Oh God.
So my proposal is going to be that we see the results of this condition play out in the novel chapter, rather than stopping and doing a vignette here. I think it makes more sense to let that play out. But what do you think, Marcy? You cool with that?
Yeah.
Fab. All right. And your positive tag, you are still determining, yes?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Right on over to, speaking of which, Marcy.
So many things are happening. I do think I took a negative tag. I'm just trying to think about what the way to phrase it, because I've been found out of not being who I actually am. Given the time, given the setting and the historical accuracy, I want to say this with like absolutely the fact that I don't believe it's a negative reputation tag, but I do think society at this time period would have thought it was a negative tag, and it needs to be cross-dresser. Yeah, which will give me since I have unchaperoned and wild as well, I think that is going to mean that I now have a negative reputation.
Now you do have a condition, so have a look at your sheet, see if there's a particular condition you want to take and how you want that to play out.
Right. That would be in the socialite page, correct? Those, yeah. The ones that there's two.
The two down, yeah. So you take one of those two.
Both of them are extremely good. But I do think it's going to be fracture, just because I don't think anyone has enough malice to want revenge on me. It's someone close to you is appalled by your behavior and refuses to talk to me. Since we are already doing the time skip, I'm going to say that it's possible that Percy and Henry and or like one of you have not spoken a word to me until the wedding that we're going to be in for the next novel chapter. If that makes any sense.
I would say it probably makes more sense for Percy. I think Henry did what he did to try to be in service. So.
What do you think?
I mean, I already have fracture going in your direction. So if you want to send it back, now we're both giving each other the silent treatment.
I think that's really good.
Which is an extremely upsetting circumstance. But yeah.
But I think we can finagle it so that maybe that silent treatment is falling away with the time skip.
And if you really want a suggestion, I mean, and that is perfectly fine. It could also be an NPC. It could be someone like the Queen, because, if this is a rumor, your social standing with the Queen is perhaps jeopardized. And that could have repercussions for you as a member of the peerage. But in any event, all right, let's keep this going. Over to you, Zach.
So I think I got 2 negative reputation tags. Regardless of how calculated this was, I think I get the reputation tags for angry and for reckless. And I think that, in all honesty, I think I did have a negative reputation tag for aloof from one of my previous cycles. And so I think I do get a negative reputation condition. I actually am going to say career peril, because I think what ended up happening was I called a regiment of soldiers to arrest people for a duel that did not seem to occur. And they found a muddied and otherwise kind of unscathed lieutenant or officer in its stead.
Love that. Makes perfect sense. And yes, I think all things considered, yeah. So you're taking one negative tag this cycle, but you already had aloof from a previous thing. Okay, so perfect. So you do take, everyone's taking negative rep conditions. Why am I not surprised based on the nature of that duel? Lovely. And finally, speaking of negative rep, Percy.
Yeah, there's no scenario where I get anything but negative rep here, and I have given myself the tag shameful, as I would say his behavior has been shameful the entire time, but this is certainly the first time that he is aware of that. Or at least is aware that there are consequences.
Fantastic. And you already have a rep condition, so no more reputation conditions for you. You just get to think about what you've done.
No more reputation.
As Haley would say. Now, lovely. All right, that concludes reputation. So back over to rumor and scandal. So it is now officially a part of Lady Whistledown Society papers that that Sidonie and Percy were seen in the orangery together overnight. Penelope overheard y'all, so there you go. Does anyone have a rumor that they would like to add to the scandal sheet?
Yeah, there was a fucking duel at the Bridgerton's estate.
Yeah.
Between the Marquess and the Earl.
I would like to. Can I amend that to be that there was that nobody is sure exactly who was dueling who? Like, we know the people involved. We know it was Wyeth, Earl of Devonshire, Marquess of Hertford, but we the rumor is not clear on who was mad at who was which affair it was. And I think the fact that 3 people were involved in a duel is pretty scandalous. Like,
this normally doesn't happen that way.
This is not proper. This is not good form.
I'd also like to add the rumor that Lord Atherton seems to be interested in Lady Whistledown. No notion on if he intends to formally court her, but it's definitely looking like it. especially after he scandalously came back from said duel, absolutely looking like a disheveled wreck, carrying a very an injured and distressed Lady Whistledown brazenly in his arms.
And I imagine Sloan is the one who spreads this rumor, probably.
I mean, Penelope was probably there to
That's
see
true.
that part of it.
It's odd hours.
Fabulous. Okay, so that's your 2 turns. The other 3 of you. Now, you can confirm a rumor as one of the characters or connections you play, one of the ones that has not yet been confirmed, or you can add your own.
I would like to submit the rumor on behalf of the lovely George Bailey that Henry only proposed to Sidonie because the Queen pressured him to.
Oof. Oh, that's
Love
rough.
that. Love that.
And then with my second action, I will spread the rumor about Percy and Sloan having previously been engaged. Just get it all out on the table now.
Cool. So that is now confirmed. All right, that's your 2 actions. Zach, David.
David, why don't you go? Because I only have one in mind right now.
Okay. I would kind of like it spread. Okay, so we don't know who was dueling who, but I would like the rumor to be the Earl of Devonshire lost the duel. We don't know who won, but Percy lost the duel is the rumor. And do I want to add another one, or do I want to confirm?
I feel like Marcus is the one who says the Earl of Devonshire lost the duel.
Oh yes,
or
it's Marcus. Like Marcus specifically will submit that because, you know, as Sloan Rowan's second and friend, he's like, all right, I gotta make sure it's known that they won, or at least that the person that they challenged lost, bare minimum. I will rest for right now, and I will potentially hold an additional or a confirmation if Zach says something spicy.
I think the immediate thing that comes to mind is that Lieutenant Henry Wyeth has been suspended from services for conduct unbecoming of an officer. Suspended, not dismissed. We shall see. Or it could be dismissed if we want to get it like super spicy. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Maybe it
Suspended
could
is
be
good.
held in the balance and decided at the beginning of next season.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mhm.
why don't we just say disciplined?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice
How
little
about that?
cliffhanger.
Conduct unbecoming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the only one I want to add. I would do something with Priscilla Willoughby if we had an epistolary, but I think we're lost. We're pretty deep in the sauce over here.
Hey, you know, you can always introduce new characters in season 2. So
yeah, I would like her to show up for sure, as we have not yet seen her.
fabulous. So that means Zach and David, you each have 1 action if you want to confirm one of the existing rumors.
The defense rests.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you know what? I think, I'm not going to confirm anything because it's just so much more interesting to see all the scuttlebutt just kind of like weaving without necessarily finding purchase. Like, what do people go on to?
Love that. All right. So quick reiteration. The new rumors that appear are that a duel occurred at the Bridgerton estate and no one is sure who was dueling who. It involved the Earl of Devonshire, Marquess of Hertford, and Lieutenant Wyeth. Lord Atherton appears to be interested in Lady Lydia Whistledown. Henry only proposed to Sidonie because the Queen pressured him to do so. The Earl of Devonshire definitively lost the duel, although we don't know who won, and Henry Wyeth has been disciplined for conduct unbecoming of an officer. The only rumor that appears on the confirmed page this cycle is that the Earl of Devonshire was seen unchaperoned in the dead of night with Miss Sidonie Birnbaum. So that is something society now knows and is talking about.
Gosh.
Yep.
I love that book ends so nicely with how he opened the season with Henry and Sloan being unchaperoned in the greenhouse.
Great. It's truly lovely.
Oh, that's real.
Everyone has a chance to be unchaperoned. You know, we are equal opportunity here on Flights of Fandom. Amazing. All right. So very quickly, let's pop over to epistolary then we can dive right into our final novel chapter of the season. But before we do that, epistolary. Everyone has the opportunity to send up to 2 letters on behalf of yourself, your main character, your connection. You do not have to send 2. It's only if you have one prepared and want to. So with that, I will open the floor for letters.
I am just going to summarize a letter. I'm going to send a letter from Sidonie to Percy asking if he happened to see a second ring in the orangery, and if so, where did it go? Help.
Missing 1 ring.
I think Henry is going to send 2 separate letters, both of the kind of like the same intent, which is one to Sloan and one to Sidonie, which is, we should talk.
Really the best letters. Just sets it up right there, clean and simple. All right, lovely.
It's funny you say that because I actually do think Sloan sent you a letter as well, Henry. That I'm not gonna I'm gonna summarize it as well, which is just essentially a very long-winded, hey, just checking. You don't know that I know that you know. That definitely isn't the case. Nothing, you don't know this, but is not specifying what this is. Mm-hmm. And is just sort of like, all right, great. Glad we both don't know anything that has to do with certain things that I shall remain unnamed. And then I think you get that first, and then I get the very ominous, well, we need to talk, and she's just like, fuck.
And when I and when I say it, like when I say the contents are we should talk, it's of course very kind of like Regency era. Like, I would find it most efficacious if we would find a time in the near future at which we would be able to sit, chaperoned, of course, to discuss matters that have transpired in and around Aubrey Hall.
Yeah, then she'll immediately send a new letter to Marquess asking about if there are any boats that are leaving to the continent in like the next week or 2, of which I don't think there are.
There's a war on, so.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. So that's Henry and Sloan covered. Percy.
I think we see a mud splattered hand pulling out an equally mud splattered scrap of paper onto which are penned a few lines. They read as follows. If I should fall to Savor's silver bite, to flash of blade upon the emerald field, if I should breathe my last in dawn's gold light, my life's blood on the ground, rubies congealed, remember me, in some small measure, that I gave all for such a treasure. And we see the muddy hand crumple the muddy scrap of paper and toss it into the woods.
You write that? Did you write that, Percy? Is that yours?
That's definitely a Devonshire. That's an original
Ruby's
Devonshire.
Congeal.
I hate that one.
Emerald
Oh,
Fields. No. It was good.
I can't wait for Percy's poetry to be discovered 100 years after his death.
There's thriving. There's very small but very intense scholarship around it. There's like 3 guys at like 2 different universities who think he is the best Regency era poet of all time, and everybody else in their field is like, what?
Yeah, these 3 frat bros have a little. They call themselves the Devonshire Society.
They
that
absolutely
right?
do. Yes.
God.
They call themselves the Devonshire Society, and they meet in this one cruddy ass cafe in Oxford every year,
Oh my
and
God.
and bro out, but in
I thought that some
in a
of them
very
are decently
academic
good writers.
way.
Do they constantly debate who won that duel?
It's still unknown.
I'm sure.
To
There's
this day.
so
unknown.
many academic papers.
Yeah.
That sounds like an epilogue to me when we get there.
God, I'm flashing back to my literature courses. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful. Percy and Sidonie, do you want to use your second letters?
I guess I'll just establish that Sidonie writes back to Henry being like, yeah, cool. Sounds great. Really looking forward to talking. I still have the ring. Bye.
Lovely. David, anything else from you?
We have a request from chat. I would like to spend a resolve token to have Penelope Featherington find the crumpled scrap of poetry in the
Please,
woods.
God.
We can make that happen.
Oh, that's how it get preserved. That's how it gets
That's how
preserved.
it
I can
enters
speak.
the literary record because, you know, Penelope, unlike a certain someone, actually is a literary talent.
Hey.
Beautiful.
There's a statement of fact and a dig. All right.
Drag him
Fabulous.
through the mud.
Okay. So with that, actually, one more letter gets sent that will be summarized. Sidonie, you receive a very covertly delivered letter. It comes in a sewn pocket of a dress that you happen to have ordered for an occasion of Sloan, and it is definitely from Penelope Featherington, who intimates that she has noticed your keen eye for drama, scandal, and detail, and knows that you are something of a talent and have something of an interest in novels. This intrigues her, and she would like to make you a business proposition.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This is how I win.
Sowing the seeds for season 2. Love it. Okay, cool. Any other letters? All right, then we are diving into novel chapter number 2. This novel chapter is going to take place at a wedding, but it's not the wedding you think it is. This is the Bridgerton and Sharma wedding that the Queen has decided to put on for the diamond of the season. Effectively, Antony and Edwina are going to profess their love, and all of you are going to be there for it. So you've been invited to the Queen's palace, lavish gardens. There are peacocks, there are living statues painted with gold that are miming various interesting emotions. There's definitely a lot of well-groomed topiary, a full orchestra outdoors in a tent, ice sculptures, lots of food. It's basically as fancy and ornate as you possibly could imagine it could be, because it's the Queen, and of course she spares no expense. That said, I just want to go round robin. One thing, everybody add one detail quickly. What's something we see at this wedding? So let's start with Chloe.
I will do my usual thing where my detail is the Vitamin String Quartet cover that is playing. It is Charlie XCX's Party for You.
Aw, that's great.
Brilliant. All right, Marcy.
I know about weddings and what they look like so well.
Those hives of scum and villainy. God, can you come back to me?
Yes,
I
we
know how
can.
weddings are structured.
All right, no problem. Zach.
I think again, it has to do more with kind of like decorations, and I think, I think the easy answer is lilies upon lilies, but I think what I'm thinking instead is just a fine selection of Southeast Asian dishes are kind of coupled along with kind of the more traditional British or English fare. And I think there's probably a couple of attendees who are making sure to have a couple of these little hors d'oeuvres, and they're getting very red in the face and like bright beet red as they kind of taste a lot of these spices, many of them for the first time.
Love that. Percy / David.
I mean, like my gut impulse is just champagne fountain, but I think it would be more interesting if there was somebody in attendance who could potentially throw the proceedings into some light chaos. I'm trying to think of somebody good. Who is the person who we want least at this wedding?
George Bailey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love that.
It's basically an upper class twit of the year sketch there with him. But yeah, go ahead.
How did George Bailey get invited? We don't know, but he's there. George let's say George Bailey has brought his entire what's a game? His entire snooker club.
Oh my god, snooker? All right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a game for roustabouts, high class Regency roustabouts, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Nearly every fancy wedding has to have, a game within the game, and you play snooker tournament, and then the winner gets to shake the hand of the couple.
Yeah. And these rowdy boys are off being rowdy in their rowdy boy corner.
Fabulous.
That's my contribution.
Mm-hmm.
We can also have a champagne fountain, by the way. It need not be one or the other. So you got your champagne. All right back around to Marcy.
Okay, in the spirit of rowdy boyness, I do think we've got some bohemians in attendance. Thanks to it being Benedict's brother's wedding, he's allowed to invite whoever he wants. I think it's rowdiness, but if there was a spectrum of rowdiness, they're like on complete opposite sides.
Very different kinds of rowdy.
Yes.
Neither one particularly compliant with rules, but hey.
Right. It's you have the bros, you have the frat bros over in one corner being rowdy in their frat bro way, and you have the theater kids over in the other corner being rowdy in their theater kid way.
Precisely that.
Beautiful.
Also, somebody mentioned peacocks, so yes. I think that they should be present.
There are indeed peacocks. Canonically, in this scene in Bridgerton, there are indeed peacocks.
I haven't watched that far.
You will see them.
Don't spoil the peacocks.
I think 2 details I will add to. I think there is a cake that looks like a big horse-drawn gilded carriage. That is the wedding cake. It looks like a carriage. And also the Featheringtons, Jack Featherington specifically, has been drawing a lot of attention at the kind of pre-proceedings of this wedding, lining up investors for a ruby mine in America. Nothing shady there. I'm sure he's completely 100% honest about that endeavor. But with all of that scene setting done, let's jump in to the novel chapter itself. Now, I'm thinking we'll do this in 2 parts. The first part is kind of pre-wedding, and the second is post the wedding not actually happening. And so there's kind of time to react to that wider canonical event, but also there's time to kind of do some dramatic stuff prior to Anthony Bridgerton and Edwina Sharma's lives falling apart in front of everyone. So, with that in view, where would we like to start?
God, that is a really good question. I think wherever we start with Sidonie at some point. Depends on who we want, who Sidonie wants to talk to first.
I would like to know what consequences Sloan has in mind for me. Or has had.
I think that Sloan has spoken to you about the situation we have both found ourselves in. And that, first off, to hell with social norms at this point. I think we're well and truly rid of them at this stage. But unfortunately, in public, we might need to be slightly separated. However, you still have access to her townhouse in London, as well as her family's estate. You are still allowed to come and go from it as you please, and she will just field those rumors as they come in her ladylike and charming and admirable way, which is to say she tells them to get the bloody hell away from her and off of her property, and if they talk to her again about the matter, she will call Scotland Yard.
I love my best friend. All right, in that case, I suppose my first conversation should probably be with Henry. Just bite the bullet.
Yeah, at which point I think you see Henry in very nicely appointed military dress, with the kind of the ceremonial kind of dress with that one sleeve pinned, and in a kind of a white gloved hand, he's kind of rolling something in between his fingers and kind of like and as soon, I think before you even see a glimpse of it, he's clutched his hand into a fist. Oh, Miss Sidonie.
Henry.
So, I imagine by now the rumors of what transpired just outside Abbey Hall have become apparent.
Quite.
It's more of a formality, I guess, but I need to know why I found this in the Earl's jacket pocket. And the palm extends, and there is, sitting center, the engagement ring.
I didn't realize that he had it. I know how it looks. All of it. Nothing happened. We got trapped in the orangery by the ducks, which I know sounds farcical, but I was in there first. He came in there and then started arguing with me and telling me how I'm going to ruin your life and all the other things that he says. And then the ducks, and then there were people outside, and we had to just stay in there all night, and the ring was, it's a bit big for me, and it must have fallen off my finger. I know how that all sounds.
I would like to pay a resolve token to Henry. If you accept this token, you do not believe this story. It sounds too far-fetched.
I'll accept this, I guess. Wait, no. Damn. I had a whole plan, and then I decided yes, I have to yes and.
No,
you don't have to take
You don't
resolve
have
tokens.
to.
You do not have to take it. I'm merely offering it.
I also am happy to spend one of my positive tags to make you believe me.
So I'll
if that's
say
what
this.
you're going for.
No positive tag needed. I will refuse the resolve token.
Done and done.
Okay. Such a little thing. And I think that I turn my hand over and reach it out to you with it kind of like cupped like this, kind of waiting expectantly.
She'll put her hand out.
And I just slowly lower the hand and press it into your palm. I know that I am not most, well, recent news notwithstanding, the most exciting of partners. Or perhaps even a love match. But I am good. I am kind and I am steadfast. And I am dutiful. And if those are qualities that in which you find value, as I find value in your intelligence, your courage, and your own sense of duty and obligation, and your understanding, your wit. If you find as much value in my qualities as I find in yours, then perhaps we may still be a match. What say you?
I will take the ring and put it back on my finger. And then reach out for your hand.
And it just is clasped tightly into yours. I must excuse myself briefly. I have another set of rounds to make, but I look forward to the next time we get to speak.
And I do too.
And I rise and go back into the ceremony, or the wedding. Oh, I have a monologue token.
I was like waiting.
I will give Sidonie my monologue token.
What do you want me to discuss?
What goes through your mind after Henry leaves you, seemingly not caring about the far-fetchedness of this story or even the circumstances that it must have entailed?
I think she is a little relieved at first, and then it gives way. Like, she's relieved because she was telling the truth, like, but then it gives way to guilt, that any of this happened in the first place, that she's been in this position where people are like saying these things about her and that they're reflecting badly on Henry, who is all of those things. He is dutiful and kind, and she likes him a lot as a person. And so I think she's feeling very guilty about the fact that this looks bad for him too. It's like a little bit of like a wake-up call, because as much as she hates Percy but enjoys verbally sparring with him, like, she's aware of how things look. She's aware of the fact that the reflection on Percy is different than it is on her, because she's a woman and she's like middle class. And I think that she is basically like I need to deserve the faith that he put in me. But a little part of her in the back of her mind is also like, why doesn't he care more? Like, why didn't he ask more? Like, is he really just in this as an arrangement and he doesn't really care about anything that I'm like bringing to the table as far as like our shared reputations are concerned, like as far as I am as a person, like why doesn't he care? And that hurts a little. Yeah, that's my mom.
Awesome. Love that.
Pain.
Sidonie, I have a resolve token for you.
Oh.
You know of 2 people that were in that greenhouse or knew about the orangery incident. One of them was Percy. The other of them was Sloan. Who do you think spilled the news to Lady Whistledown?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, her first thought is Percy, and then she's like, what if it was Sloan? And that's why she's being so chill about the fact that this happened. Like, and then she's like, no, this is my best friend. Like, I can't think of her that way. But in the back of her head, she's like, but what if it was? Like, the doubt is sown, the seeds of doubt.
You accept the resolve token?
Oh, yeah.
Fab. Fracture baby.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Love to see it. All right. What do we want to see next?
I have a scene in mind, but I actually want to hear what David wants, or Marcy for that matter.
Yeah, I have a suggestion, but
I do as well.
let's decide which one is more interesting to have first, perhaps.
I was I was gonna do a resolve token to you, David, about the fact that we are seated together at this wedding.
Oh God.
Fate has a very cruel sense of irony.
Okay.
Now that can come before or after whatever you were about to suggest as well.
I would like at some point during this wedding, and I think after might end up making a little more sense if the scene is Percy and Sloan.
Yeah, I do think we need to talk.
Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep this one close to the chest.
All right.
Let's see where this goes.
Yeah. I think my idea is probably for after you guys have this scene is probably for Sloan and Henry to talk.
I
think that's your cue.
Yeah. So we see. So I think we're seated at dinner. Yes, is that the idea?
I think you're probably seated actually before the wedding.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
So this is kind of taking place in 2 parts. There's the sort of pre-wedding before the wedding falls apart, and then there's the after the wedding where people like are in the garden dealing with the fact that the bride ran away.
Good point. Right, I forgot we're at the one that falls apart. Okay, so yeah, so we're seated next to each other. We see Percy, dressed, all in black. His hair is sort of like curling down just a little bit over his eyes. He is, I would say, in his manner, rather attractively rumpled, but more so than usual. And he has just chosen to wear the drabbest outfit to this otherwise colorful, bright wedding.
Incredible.
And he is sitting as as, like, much as society will allow, he is sort of slumped in his seat.
Sloan is just giving you a once-over. It's just... Are you here for a funeral or for a wedding?
Oh, what's the bloody difference anymore, hmm?
What has gotten into you? Dare I even ask?
You need to ask. Really? You're going to ask what's gotten into me?
As far as I know, my brother didn't puncture anything vital.
Yes. Your brother was extremely deft with that blade, and the only thing that he managed to puncture was the illusion about myself that I have any friends in the world. Good show. Good show.
Well, about time.
Yes, do gloat. I'm sure you're enjoying yourself, seeing me laid low. Are you satisfied? Did you get what you wanted?
Did I get what I wanted?
Yes. Because I certainly didn't get a damn thing that I did, so that should make you rather happy.
Well, I think that makes two of us.
Oh, didn't realize we were running in the same club.
My lord, do you think any of this has made me happy?
Well, my lady, I rather thought that was the point of the whole thing. Why did you do it?
Do
if
what?
Not to the whole affair.
What are you talking about?
Come now. Don't be so tiresome.
I think, my lord, you had best speak plainly. This better not be one of your poems that you're trying out on me.
You really want me to speak plainly in mixed company while you sit there in a frock?
I'm sorry, do you not like this dress?
Oh no, it's lovely. Lovely dress. Beautiful. Gorgeous. That colour. It looks divine.
And no one is paying us any attention if you care to notice we're here for a different couple.
Yes, well, the walls have ears, and they also have pens, and they love to use those two things lately, don't they?
I'm sorry, am I
It wouldn't
now...
make a difference to me. I'm about as miserable as one can get, so I'm willing to throw whatever secrets I might have to the wind at this point.
You're being a tad overdramatic there, my lord. Just a bit.
Well, I might as well be dramatic, because there's nothing else left for me.
Good God. Is the big secret that your heart is irrevocably shattered to millions of pieces, and however will you pick them up? I'm sure you'll manage. You'll find another young lady who will help sweep them all up into one piece, I'm sure, as you always do.
Your confidence in me is truly heartening, Lady Atherton. But no, I'm not speaking of my secrets, my lady. I am, of course, speaking of yours, and it baffles me that you wouldn't want to remain discreet about them. It seems that, well, you and your brother and you... It's all gotten rather confused in my head lately, and I can't imagine why, can you?
Yeah, Sloane's eyes widen just a little bit with some real sense of emotion. She's been very cold.
Yes. All right. That's the look that I was going for, the one that I expected. He's been, like, you know, his voice has been lowered at this point, and he raises it. I was trying to be subtle!
It's not like you left me a lot of options. What was I supposed to do? Wait for my mercurial brother, or for the lieutenant to return from war to defend my own honor? No one here was going to do it. Why not I?
I don't blame you at all. I think you've got the
Really?
right of it.
Truly.
Successful, were you not?
This is a joke.
No, I'm not laughing. Are you laughing? Are you laughing?
Hardly.
He turns to somebody next to them.
She's like grabbing you by your arm. Will you stop it? Is your goal now to humiliate me?
Now you're taking this seriously.
Seriously?
Lady Atherton, my goal is not to humiliate you.
Lord Devonshire, this is my life. This is your friend's life.
You're welcome to live it as you want, and I shan't interfere. I don't see any reason why I would.
You might have known the truth of it if you hadn't been entirely an ass. You know, I thought that there was a moment where I might have been able to bring someone into our little circle. You were as wild and reckless as my brother and I when we were growing up. You seemed to understand that we couldn't be confined into our little roles that we had here in society. You seem to have wanted more at one point, and I trusted you with that. And I was an utter fool. You made a fool out of me. And I wanted to make a fool out of you right back.
I should say that was accomplished.
You know, it's not the loss of an engagement that I mourned. It was the idea that there might have been a life full of adventures, that I might not have had to wear these little frocks forever. That you might have let me live my life the way that I wanted to, with no complaints. And I might have let you live one as well, but we'll never know. You made sure of that.
Yes, I rather did. And in spite of that, I am sure, Lady Atherton, and he gets up at this point, that a woman as singular as you shall find a way, in one fashion or another, to live the life that she desires and deserves. And he walks away.
Yeah, Sloan will just continue sitting there, sort of. She's not sure if she won this conversation or lost it.
Good, that was my goal.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I'm not sure if should let the events. Well, no, the wedding can't dissolve just yet. I will say that Sloan, if you have an instinct, I will give you a resolve token to pursue the instinct of finding a place of respite or a place away from prying eyes to just kind of catch your breath. And that is where you will find Henry.
I'd like to think that she got up a few minutes after to try to get some air and immediately then sees that you're out there too. And she just sort of rolls her eyes because she already knows that you've sussed it out a while ago.
Well, I think there's a little bit of instinct here. Do we want to have a monologue token before this, or should we wait?
What do we think is more interesting? Because I want to throw a monologue token to Sloan for sure. Do we want to do it in the wake of that conversation with Percy, or do we want to do it in the wake of whatever this incoming conversation?
In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do this. Let's see what happens with Henry.
Just stack the feelings.
Yep.
All right.
And then deal with both feelings at once.
Great.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that Hank is just, I think, probably sitting near a copse of trees or underneath some kind of nicely appointed bit of gardening and hedge work off from the wedding proper, and is just kind of like contemplating things. I think probably just like looking around, and then I think his gaze kind of follows a cloud or something distracting him and meets yours.
Please tell me you're not going to lecture me too. I just had to listen to Percy's.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. So, and I think at this point, I kind of look to each way. So how long have you been doing this?
That's an interesting question. Since Rowan and I first learned to dress ourselves.
I knew something was amiss because Rowan is not half the fencer that you are.
Ah. So it seems all my letters for him to keep practicing have been for naught.
Well, he may have had other things on his mind. It
yes.
was. Sorry, continue. I didn't mean
I heard of the words you two exchanged.
I suppose was more angry in the moment for the fact that I felt that I earned them. I am the one who left after all.
You left because you could. We both wanted to. We just can't.
I left because even before I found myself in the battlefield, I sensed that I was becoming a different person. Maybe not necessarily better, but I don't think that I could have kept pace with your brother for much longer, if at all.
Well, don't be too hard on yourself. There's very few who can. Very few he lets.
And I understood as well that that you and your brother kept similar paces, that you had a whole world in which, if anything, I would be weighing you down.
Henry, you were always the best out of all of us.
Guess that's the trouble then, isn't it? To know of something that you want so badly and that you know it will come to no good for you.
Yes, I'm intimately familiar with that.
I thought of you often when I was recovering.
Me?
Of course you.
But you were always closer to Rowan.
I was young and somewhat confused. Let's leave it there.
You know, the older I get, the more I feel that the walls are closing in. At some point, I can only hold them off for so long.
You know, my grandfather was a soldier. My father was a soldier. And I am a soldier. And look at everything I got for it by following the life that was expected for me.
Well, Henry, stop following the life that's expected of you.
My point is to say in this world, I don't have a choice.
Yes,
But
neither do I, and yet...
You do. You have means, you have your brother who loves and dotes upon you. Why waste your breath on someone like Percy who's never going to change? Why waste your time, your anger, your frustration, and go elsewhere? Go abroad, go someplace. Imagine this. There has to be more accepting places than London or here.
Oh, Henry, you are still as ever like my brother. My brother and I might step into each other's lives once in a while. But at the end of the day, he's accepted as a man while I am accepted as a woman. And I will need to marry at some point, have children, be a doting wife, as is expected of me. And then all this stops. Now, Rowan has the money. Rowan has the means. I do not. Rowan can simply go abroad whenever he wishes to, even when he does choose to marry, if he ever does. He can step into whatever life he wishes to and back into his again. I'm running out of that time. And I think I've been a bit hard on both you and Percy. In that sense. Both of you have the kind of freedom I only get to experience every so often. And that time is running out.
I wish I had the answer for you.
Well, Sloan takes a breath, stands up. I'd better get back to that wedding.
And
I'm sure it's going to happen. They've been stalling a little bit, but she pauses, looks down at her feet just a little bit, and then turns back to Henry and goes, Henry, do you want my advice?
Always.
Don't marry Sidonie. And she's going to walk away.
As you walk away, there is this moment where Henry reaches out to grab your hand to pull you back. And the air catches nothing.
Yes, it's like that Pride and Prejudice moment in like with the hands in the carriage.
And I think he just kind of ponders his empty fist a moment, and then I think just or standing up and recomposing himself and taking a minute before and waiting before going back into the ceremony.
Percy, you've got a monologue token
I'm gonna
to spend.
I'm gonna throw out that monologue token.
Shit!
I'm gonna throw that monologue token at Sloan.
God.
Gosh.
Sloan is walking back into the church and is just thinking, why did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. Henry is going to be marrying my best friend. It's the best position for her, and I shouldn't be interfering with that. And yet I can't stop interfering with everything, it seems. That's all I'm good for, is interfering with my brother's life, with Percy's life, with Henry's life. And it's simply because I don't have one of my own. And I'm not sure how to acquire one. I'm going to have to make this right, aren't I? Even after I thought I would feel better after trying to stab Percy, but, well, I guess revenge isn't all it's cracked up to be. Well, at least one wedding can go off without a hitch. And then I can worry about the rest later.
Perfect. Love it.
A+. Speaking of weddings going off without a hitch, you are all seated, and Miss Edwina Sharma makes her way up the aisle to join Anthony Bridgerton, who looks nervous, perhaps not unexpectedly. And of course, Lady Edwina Sharma is followed by Lady Kate Sharma, who is her maid of honor. And as Edwina Sharma joins Anthony Bridgerton on what might be the happiest day of her life, some of you would swear that you see a look pass between Anthony Bridgerton and Kate Sharma, a look that's familiar to some of you. It's a look that no one in the Ton should have noticed, but perhaps you do. And no sooner would you have expected that look would go away, Kate drops her bracelet, and the room freezes. Because Anthony Bridgerton has abandoned his post as groom, has sunk to his knees, and gathered the bracelet in his hand, holding it up to Kate. And I think now you look at Edwina, whose face for the first time clocks this exchange, and it is a mask of betrayal and shock and confusion. And almost in slow motion, Anthony Bridgerton takes his place back at the altar, waiting for the Archbishop to proceed. But Lady Edwina, I need a moment, and suddenly she's walking back down the aisle to the chagrin of the entire Ton, leaving a befuddled and baffled Anthony Bridgerton staring after her. You are all very quickly ushered out into the gardens to enjoy the peacocks and the ice sculptures and the dancing golden people who are still making very comical gestures. And you hear a variety of rumors. Edwina has taken ill. Apparently, this has to do with the honeymoon that has been planned by Lord Bridgerton. You hear some gentlemen begrudging that now ladies are going to be jilting their grooms at the altar left and right, and they can't be allowed to do this. These are probably people you know, Percy. And I think amidst all of this chaos, Sidonie, where do we find you and Percy?
Sidonie finds herself in behind a hedge, hiding from the other people here because she is now having a mild panic about her own engagement and knows that she can't leave yet, but needs some alone time, which she's not going to get, clearly.
Yeah, Percy is sort of just aimlessly walking in that direction. I think he's acquired a coupe of champagne, which he's just like taken one and just like slung it under the fountain, and sort of leans against the hedge to just sort of mopily watch the proceedings as everybody tries to figure out what's going on, and then like looks down, notices a bit of skirt at the edge of the hedge, looks around, sees you. Damn, Miss Birnbaum, we meet
Not
again.
you. No, just go.
You see? This is what happens. All of this hubbub. All of these emotions swirling around. People. It all falls apart. The drop of a pin. Just like that.
Are you all right?
Whatever would make you say a thing like that, Miss Birnbaum?
I've never known you to opine on human misery before.
Well, I suppose until now I haven't had my fair share to opine.
Well, that's true.
You know, you can gloat too if you'd like.
About what?
My situation. He like fully assumes that you are completely aware of everything that transpired at the duel, and he has zero evidence to back this up.
The situation in the gossip sheet.
Yes, whatever you read, it's all true. I'm a miserable shambles. I haven't a friend in the world, and, everyone who I was previously friendly with rather hates me. Which is quite an interesting change of pace. Normally, it's sort of about a 50-50 split of people who hate me.
Well, that seems generous. I can't say I realized that being caught unchaperoned in an orangery was going to be as bad for your reputation as mine.
That's just the beginning, my dear Miss Birnbaum. Getting caught in that orangery with you is the least of my worries, to be honest, and quite frankly, the least of my source of melancholy. Why, if I would have my way, I would go right back there now and, I think I'd follow your advice and not go through with that duel.
Yes, more people would probably do well to follow my advice.
You are rather intelligent, I must admit.
Thank you? Have you decided that I'm not the source of all your problems, then?
No, unfortunately. It appears I've been mistaken. The source of all my problems is, believe it or not, me. A sad, miserable sack of a man who can't get a damn thing in the world right. So, there you go. I hope that admission really gets into your heart and brings you some well-needed comfort and joy.
Well, I would just rather that you not continually make choices that upset everyone around you.
Well, that's one way to go about it. Haven't tried it yet. Haven't given it a shot.
Well, it might be the time to try.
And where would you recommend beginning on that particular endeavor?
I don't know. You could apologize to people? Just everyone in the ton, perhaps? You could apologize to me. I noticed that you haven't said, I'm sorry yet.
Well, I am rather apologetic for my behavior in your general direction that happened between the two of us lately.
Would you like to be specific?
Must I be? This is very difficult. I'm having a hard time.
I don't care.
Well, it appears that I must admit that I rather misjudged your character. And I apologize for attempting to poison Henry's ear against you. And I perhaps may have made some untoward threats and intimations as to your identity vis-a-vis one scribbler that were perhaps unwarranted.
Entirely unwarranted.
Though, come to think of it, it isn't you, is it? You can tell me. At this point, what do I have to lose?
Of course it's not me.
Are you sure?
Reasonably.
You're really sure about that?
Unless I'm writing in my sleep, then yes.
Okay.
And I think that Sloan would have figured that out by now. So
truth be told, I would find the whole endeavor rather admirable.
Really?
Yes. If it's you, you're very good. I shouldn't be half as devastated as I am now without those scribblings.
I appreciate your apologies. I will accept the compliment that I have not earned because I am not the scribbler. I will suggest that perhaps instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you should proffer more apologies to others.
That was exceedingly unpleasant, and you want me to do it again?
I do. I like watching you squirm.
Yes, I am but a worm to you, my lady. Well, perhaps in this moment of misery and contrition, we can momentarily put aside our differences. You are more or less the only person who will talk to me at this point.
I can accept that.
Good.
For what it's worth, I don't think you could have succeeded in poisoning Henry against me, as I don't think he cares enough about me one way or another.
I believe you are most mistaken there. Our Hank is a rather determined gentleman when he puts his mind to it, and in this case, he has put his mind to you, Miss Birnbaum.
That's not the same as caring. If he cared about me, if he cared for me, he would not have quite so easily accepted the rumors about the night in the orangery, or how my engagement ring came to be found on your person.
I shall tell you what. If you are able to bend the lieutenant's ear, and perhaps put in a good word for me or two, he's rather annoyed at me at the moment. Perhaps it is possible that I may, in my time, sound his emotions on you. And perhaps knowing that, swing things in your favor as well. He is rather irritatingly good. And if you're to have him, well, you should have him wholeheartedly. And he reaches out a hand to you, where you are kneeling in the hedge.
I'll take it. I will do my best.
And he will bring you up. Good. Then, in that case, shall we rejoin this circus?
I have a question out of character. How close are we standing to each other when you pull me up?
close. He's,
Cool.
he pulls you to your feet from behind the hedge and sort of, just is slightly turning his head away from you to gesture at the Ton in their state of anxiety and agitation.
Okay, I would like to make a suggestion then, which is that Sidonie kisses you on the cheek. Penelope or someone else sees it and thinks that it looks like an actual kiss.
I love it. Like,
Right.
Percy turns his head back just in time for your kiss, and it's just shy.
Yeah, I
of
was
the
gonna say
lips.
that was gonna be my addition. Is like if you mistakenly turn your head at the time that Sidonie is going in to kiss you on the cheek, so it actually ends up being a kiss on the lips, but completely unintentionally.
Yeah.
Love it. Perfect.
So good.
And I think the last thing we get is that kiss pull back to Penelope Featherington, like
With her
laser
hand
focus
over her mouth.
across the garden.
And curtain close. This has been the season finale of Bridgerton, Dearest Reader.
Woo! Woo!
Oh
What a
my.
time.
That's a spicy.
God, I'm so glad we have another
Tremendous.
season of this.
Me
I am-
too.
now I'm just like, now I really want to know what happens.
Next year, folks.
You gotta end on the drama. You gotta end on the drama. Oh, amazing. Right. Well, thanks everyone in chat for being here, for sticking with us through this wild ride. I've enjoyed it immensely. I think we've all enjoyed it immensely, and we're excited to do it again for you. But before we sign off, we're going to go round robin, reintroduce yourself, give your name, pronouns, where we can find you on the socials, and plugs, anything you would like to plug that is upcoming that you would like to advertise to our lovely folks in chat, please do so. So let's begin with Chloe.
Chloe, she, her. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chloe Sobel, and on itch for my games as fiercely.itch.io. Keep an eye out. I will be releasing a Good Society hack this month, or May, called Thinly Veiled. It is what if you put ghosts in good society?
Hell
I
yeah.
really enjoy it, and hopefully you will too.
I want to romance some ghosts.
You get to romance some ghosts. Ghost romance is the best kind of romance. There should be more of it. Yep, that's it.
Fantastic. Marcy, over to you.
Hey y'all, I've been Marcy. I will probably continue to be Marcy, although who knows at this point. You can find me around the internet, again, under the username Experimental Madness. Yep, I'm usually right here on this channel doing Flights of Fandom every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Next month, we're going to be veering away from things like Bridgerton and high society and going to a galaxy far, far away to do a concluding flight of our Star Wars themed flight. The first 2 seasons are available on YouTube if you want to catch up. Now would be a great time to do it. There's gonna be some shenanigans, y'all. And then in June, we'll be doing a BioShock flight. So if you're into video games, especially BioShock, join us. It's definitely not gonna be my first time DMing ever. It'll be fun. I'm not nervous. In addition to Flights of Fandom continuing to truck on, we've got our Invisible Sun game as well. If you're not sick of either myself or Zach, you can catch us every other Sunday at 4:30 p.m. doing what is truly one of the most buck wild games I've ever played. It is entirely surreal, magical. I don't even know how to describe it to you. It's like steampunk, surreal, magical absurdism. So if you're into high drama, high angst, definitely do check it out. I see we have like just a bonkers amount of shippers on deck here in our chat, so I really can't recommend any of our games more highly. They're all shippery. Just come scream about fictional characters not talking about their feelings. And on that note, also in June, every other Monday, we will be taking one of our flights that we set in the world of Batman and Gotham and turning it into an actual ongoing long form game called Streets of Gotham. It'll be every other Monday at 8 p.m. If you want more crazy shippery stuff, yeah, check us out. We're not all playing henchmen that are secretly in love with our bosses. That's my pitch to this audience. That is what the game is now become about. David is our marvelous DM on that. So do tune in for our premiere, which I believe is going to be on the 6th, unless anything changes, in which case I will let you know. And that's all I've got.
Delightful. Right on over to Zach.
I think everybody got my good stuff. I think that Invisible Sun, I am Zach, otherwise known as Great Zamino. You can find me all over the internet under that moniker. I use he, him pronouns. I am the GM and the producer of The Hole in the World, our Invisible Sun stream, as Marcy was talking about it. And on top of that, I am working to turn that into a podcast. So at some point, hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll have a selection of episodes that you guys can catch up to and listen in on when you don't want to look at our goofy faces from the YouTubes. But in the meantime, we are going to be continuing to run that starting Sunday after this one. And I'll go ahead and let David plug his own stuff, which I was half tempted to do, but you're so much better at.
I very much appreciate it. You're welcome to plug my stuff at any time. Charmed, I'm sure. I've been David. You can check out my games over at dbb-8.itch.io, including some that we've played right here on Flights of Fandom. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at dbrunelbrutman. You can follow me over there if you want. Marcy covered most of what I've got upcoming. Next month, I will be the GM for the 3rd installment of our Star Wars flight. That's kicking off in May. Then in June, I will be a player in our Bioshock flight, and I will be GMing our brand new series, Streets of Gotham, as previously said. So join us for that as well, and our Gotham City henchmen. I think that covers everything. If you want to catch up on any of those series, Star Wars, Gotham, the earlier games are Escape from Arkham. That stuff is on YouTube, on VOD. Check it out. I think you will find some stuff to enjoy and get caught up on before we kick it off with these new ones. And I think that's it for me.
Lovely. Well, for my part, just to echo and reiterate what folks have said, I am also in the Invisible Sun game on Sundays. Do come along and check it out. It is a wild, dramatic time. There is a lot of content, which is why we are doing a podcast that, might make that a little bit more parsable, but it is such a fantastic game and just wild, surreal stuff. Well, it is true. A lot of people not talking about their feelings, sometimes when they should, but generally not doing so nonetheless. Creepy mirrors that follow you around. Yeah, that's a thing. It's a good time. It's a delightful time most of the time, except when it's not. And also going to be in the June Bioshock game. So stay tuned for some of us coming back to the channel for that. And for my part, I want to plug Storybrewers Roleplaying, who is the creator of this delightful system you have seen us play here. Good Society is a fantastic game. It always produces the juiciest drama. So props to Haley and V for creating it and for creating such a wonderful community of folks that love to play in it too. It has been an absolute delight. To that end, I would like to plug two things related to Storybrewers. One, they have just released their Kickstarter for their next round of Little Box RPGs. So go check that out on Kickstarter. Decaying Orbit is a sci-fi game about an AI that you maybe fall in love with? Question mark? Yeah, I see that face, Marcy. I see that face. It's great. And then Saltfish and Almanacs is a game where you play as merchants who are going around to various locales selling your wares. So definitely go check those out. They're lovely little box as described games. The other thing I'll plug in that vein is currently on Roll for Its channel. A game has been started, an actual play of Good Society that is using the upstairs downstairs system, which is basically like Downton Abbey kind of situation in terms of the setup, where you've got your downstairs characters and your upstairs characters. It is going to be a 12 session game, which is very long in Good Society game terms. It is called the Eaton Grange Estate on Roll for It channel, and Haley is GMing or facilitating. So definitely go check that out if you haven't heard of it. And finally, for my part, I would like to shout out my lovely cast. You have all been a delight to facilitate. This game wouldn't be what it was without you. So thanks for being here. Thanks for creating such juicy drama and fantastic characters. You're all stars. I've loved where you've yes-anded and pushed the narrative at every possible opportunity. Literally a delight to facilitate and play with, and I can't wait to do it again with you. So to season 2, that's what's gonna come up. That's the next time where we're going to return to these lovely characters. But until then, lovely players, lovely viewers, ladies and gentlemen of the Tawn, this has been Bridgerton, Dearest Reader, and I, Lady Whistledown, your scribbler, signing off. Have a good night.